Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your back porch professor. I hope you're all having a wonderful Labor Day weekend, but unfortunately, things just keep getting worse for this woke CEO over at Cracker Barrel. The 93-year-old founder of Cracker Barrel just delivered one of the most brutal corporate takedowns in recent memory. This is the story of how Tommy Lowe, the man who literally unlocked the doors to the first Cracker Barrel back in 1969, just declared war on the woke insanity, destroying his life's work. And the numbers prove him absolutely right. Now, if you don't know, if you didn't see the interview, Tommy Lowe didn't hold back when he sat down with a local news station. And he described how the CEO, Julie Masino, is completely alienated from Cracker Barrel's customer base. I mean, the CEO of the company doesn't relate to or understand her own customer base. Just like the marketing executive over at Bud Light, who actually disparaged and insulted their working class customer base. And again, Bud Light is still, they haven't recovered from that. Well, Cracker Barrel's going through very much the same thing. And the founder, Tommy Lowe, 93 years old, he described Masino's $700 million transformation project as throwing money out the window. And he called the failed logo redesign bland and pitiful. It's so interesting because Masino built her career at Taco Bell and Starbucks. So these are companies, particularly Starbucks, that thrive on appealing to urban progressive demographics. Well, she was hired specifically to transform Cracker Barrel for a more hip progressive customer base. But in doing so, all she did was demonstrate for everyone to see how much she fundamentally misunderstands what made the Cracker Barrel brand so successful for over 5 decades. And this 93-year-old founder responded to that by pointing out that the CEO is trying to modernize Cracker Barrel to be like the competition. But the problem is Cracker Barrel doesn't have any competition. The chain succeeded precisely because it offered something authentic that corporate consultants couldn't replicate. I mean, this guy is absolutely brilliant. This is good old-fashioned wisdom here. He knows his customer base. He knows and loves the Americana culture that Cracker Barrel caters to. And he's absolutely excoriating this former Starbucks CEO for imposing Seattle cosmopolitan values on a chain that prides itself on serving Appalachia and the working class. Now, Masino's been CEO since July of 2023, and her leadership has been a disaster. Over the last couple of years, Cracker Barrel's stock has plummeted nearly 70%, falling from peaks of $180 a share back in 2018 to approximately $60 a share today. By contrast, like Texas Roadhouse, for example, they thrived during that same period. The company was actually forced to cut its quarterly dividend by a staggering 80% in May of 2024, reducing it from $1.30 a share to now just 26 cents a share. So obviously when longtime investors relied on that dividend income, see their returns evaporate, that's not just bad business, that's a betrayal of the very people who sustained your company for decades. The logo fiasco alone triggered a 15% stock drop before the company's emergency reversal when they came out and said, no mas, no mas. It's funny because she used to be CEO of Taco Bell as well, but I digress. In just days, nearly $100 million in market value vanished, precisely because the CEO ignored and turned her back on her core customer base, just to chase approval from a woke cosmopolitan crowd who were never going to eat at Cracker Barrel anyway, no more than they would start drinking Bud Light. I mean, it's absurd. And I think the most telling moment came when Lowe revealed that CEO Masino had never even met with him since taking control in 2023. I mean, seriously, the co-founder of your company, the man who represents your entire brand heritage, if you're the CEO, he doesn't even know who you are. That's not leadership. Again, that is absolute folly. So bottom line, this founder, Tommy Lowe, his message is crystal clear. If they don't get back to keeping it country, then it ain't going to work. Because that's what Cracker Barrel is. It's a symbol of Americana. And if you destroy that symbol, you destroy the company. Simple. Now, again, the good news in all of this is that following this financial catastrophe, Cracker Barrel didn't just reverse the logo decision. They reversed all of their silly, ridiculous, virtue-signaling woke antics. So they ever so quietly scrubbed their DEI and pride pages from their website after conservative activist Robbie Starbuck exposed them on social media. There was no press release, no announcement, just a silent admission that their progressive positioning was destroying shareholder value. And of course, this is part of a larger pattern that Robbie has helped generate across the country, this pattern of quiet retreat from woke policies spreading all across corporate America. Companies like General Motors, Pepsi, Intel, they've all been systematically removing their diversity language from their SEC filings, taking down their pride pages and websites, all that kind of stuff. The market has spoken, and virtue signaling is now recognized as a liability rather than an asset. We talk about the triumph of what's called consumer politics, where more and more people are voting with their wallets, and they are deliberately boycotting companies that offend their conservative values. And you would think that Cracker Barrel would be the last company on the planet to go woke, and yet here we are. They literally committed corporate suicide with another lunatic leftist CEO leading the inevitable demise. I would say that Tommy Lowe's devastating critique represents more than just one founder's frustration with current management. It's a generational battle between authentic American business values that once ruled the day and a contemporary corporate consultancy culture that prioritizes progressive approval over customer satisfaction. When a 93-year-old man who built your company from nothing calls your leadership pitiful, when your stock has collapsed 70% under your watch and your restaurant, your parking lots go empty across the country, you're not dealing with normal market forces. You're watching a systematic destruction of American enterprise by ideological activists who are learning the hard way that if you go woke, what? You inevitably go broke. So the question isn't whether Julie Messina will survive this crisis. The question is whether American companies will learn that authenticity beats artificiality, that founders' wisdom trumps consultants' theories, and that the people who actually buy your products matter more than the activists who profit from destroying them. Because when all is said and done, only one thing will remain: Tommy Lowe's simple truth that if you don't keep it country, you're going to lose it all. Love you guys. Have a wonderful Labor Day. God bless.